Every Saturday, my wife complained about me to her friends. Then one day, I asked them to do something they never expected. Emily never imagined she'd look forward to Saturday mornings more than weekends with her husband. It wasn't because of the discussions. It was because of the people. The Saturday Thinkers was a community group where nearly 40 people gathered every weekend to discuss a question about life. After the opening discussion, everyone split into small groups. Emily happened to end up with the same three women week after week: Claire, Sarah, Monica. By the end of every session, the four of them would walk to the cafe across the street. Those coffee conversations soon became their favorite part of the day. One Saturday, the conversation drifted toward marriage. Claire laughed. "My husband still thinks mowing the lawn counts as helping around the house." Sarah rolled her eyes. "Mine disappears into the garage whenever there's housework." Monica smiled. "I swear golf is his first wife." Emily laughed. "You think that's bad?" Three faces turned toward her. "My husband disappears every Saturday." "What do you mean?" "Fishing." "The whole day." Sarah frowned. "Seriously?" Emily nodded. "Every Saturday he's gone fishing all day." Claire shook her head. "So you spend Saturdays alone?" Emily shrugged dramatically. "What choice do I have?" The women exchanged sympathetic looks. A week later, the topic somehow returned to marriage. Emily sighed. "I hate company events." Monica smiled. "Why?" "There are always these women around Ethan." "What women?" "You know the type. They laugh at everything he says. They somehow always end up standing next to him. And he just smiles like it's the most normal thing in the world." Sarah frowned. "So he enjoys the attention?" Emily took a sip of coffee. "Sometimes I think he does." The women looked at each other. None of them liked what they were hearing. Another Saturday. Claire asked, "Does Ethan at least cook?" Emily laughed so hard she nearly spilled her coffee. "Cook? If I'm home? He won't even step into the kitchen. I cook. I clean. And somehow he still asks what's for dinner." Sarah slowly shook her head. "I would have put a stop to that years ago." Emily smiled. "I complain every single time." Week after week, there was always another story. Fishing, office parties, the kitchen, little things, ordinary things. But every story pointed in the same direction, without ever meeting Ethan. Claire, Sarah, and Monica slowly began picturing the same man. A husband who loved his hobbies, enjoyed attention from other women, expected his wife to take care of everything at home. Emily never noticed what was happening. To her, she was simply venting about married life. To them, she was introducing her husband. A few weeks after joining the Saturday Thinkers, Emily mentioned something over breakfast. "You know, I spend half my Saturdays talking about Claire, Sarah, and Monica." Ethan looked up from his coffee. "I've noticed." She smiled. "I hope it's not too boring." He laughed. "Actually, I'd like to meet them." She looked surprised. "You would?" "Of course. I've heard so much about them, it feels strange not knowing them." She smiled. "I'll invite them for dinner." The following Friday evening, the doorbell rang. Claire, Sarah, and Monica stood outside, carrying desserts and a bottle of wine. Ethan welcomed each of them with a warm smile. "Claire, Emily told me your husband finally finished renovating the basement." Claire blinked. "He actually finished last week." "I'm glad. Emily said he'd been working on it for months." She laughed. "I didn't think she'd remember." "I think she remembers more than she realizes." He turned to Sarah. "How's your husband doing after hurting his shoulder?" "Much better." "I'm glad to hear that." Then Monica. "Did your husband ever buy that motorcycle he kept talking about?" Monica smiled. "He did. I told him it was a bad idea." Ethan laughed. "I've learned husbands don't always listen." The room laughed with him. None of it felt forced. He wasn't trying to impress anyone. He simply listened whenever Emily talked. Dinner was relaxed. Everyone found themselves laughing more than they expected. Whenever a glass became empty, Ethan quietly refilled it. Whenever a plate needed clearing, he stood before anyone else. When Claire offered to help, he smiled. "Your guests. Tonight you relax." Halfway through dinner, Claire smiled. "So, Emily tells us you disappear every Saturday." Emily sighed. "Here we go." Claire laughed. "Fishing. The entire day." Ethan smiled. "Guilty." "So, why every Saturday?" He looked at Emily. "Honestly?" She nodded. "When Emily found something she genuinely loved doing on Saturdays, a few of us started planning fishing trips. She has her Saturdays. I have mine." He shrugged. "It gave her time with her friends. It gave me time with mine." Then he smiled. "If your husbands ever want to come along, tell them they're welcome." The three women exchanged a quiet glance. That wasn't how they'd imagined the story. A little later, Monica grinned. "Emily also complains about company parties." Emily buried her face in her hands. "Oh no." Monica laughed. "She says women are always surrounding you." Ethan chuckled. "I work in business development. If people don't talk to me, I'm probably unemployed." Everyone laughed. "I've learned the trick." "What?" I smile. I answer politely, and then I spend the rest of the evening looking for my wife. He looked at Emily. "She's much easier to talk to." Emily smiled without saying a word. Dessert arrived. Claire looked toward the kitchen. "So, do you cook?" Emily answered before Ethan could. "No." The table laughed. Ethan laughed too. "I used to try." Claire looked curious. "What happened?" "I chopped vegetables." Emily interrupted. "Too thick." "I loaded the dishwasher." "Wrong." "I organized the pantry." "Wrong again." "I seasoned the pasta." Emily pointed at him. "You almost ruined it." Everyone burst into laughter. Ethan lifted both hands in surrender. "So now, I've accepted that the kitchen belongs to Emily." He smiled at his wife. "And honestly, I don't mind. I'm spoiled. I come home to amazing food every day." He looked around the table. "I honestly think I'm one of the luckiest husbands around." Emily lowered her eyes, trying to hide her smile. The evening continued with stories, travel, movies, work. Not once did Ethan flirt. Not once did he interrupt Emily. Not once did he speak badly about anyone. When the evening ended, Ethan walked the three women to their cars. "Thank you for coming. I hope next time your husbands join us. I think they'd get along with my fishing group." Everyone laughed. After a few more pleasantries, Ethan went back inside. Emily called from the doorway. "Ethan, can you help me with the dishes?" "Coming." He smiled at the women one last time and disappeared into the house. The three women stood quietly beside their cars. For a long moment, no one spoke. Finally, Monica broke the silence. "Can I ask you both something?" Claire nodded. "Go ahead." Monica looked back toward the house. "Is that really the man Emily's been talking about every Saturday?" Sarah let out a slow breath. "I've been asking myself the same thing all evening." Claire leaned against her car. "I expected—" She searched for the words. "Someone selfish." Sarah nodded. "I expected someone who loved attention." Monica added, "I expected someone who treated Emily like she came second." Another silence. Claire shook her head. "Instead, he remembered details about our husbands. He listened. He barely spoke about himself." Sarah looked toward the house. "Did you notice something?" "What?" "Every time Emily entered the conversation, his face changed." "What do you mean?" "He looked proud." Monica smiled. "I noticed that too." Another silence. Finally, Claire said quietly, "Either we've misunderstood Ethan, or we've misunderstood Emily." Sarah folded her arms. I don't think Emily realizes how she talks about him. Monica nodded. If everything we know about Ethan came from Emily, then maybe she doesn't realize what picture she's been painting. Claire sighed. I actually feel bad for him. So do I. They got into their cars. None of them noticed. Through the kitchen window, Emily and Ethan were laughing about something while washing dishes together. Months passed. The Saturday Thinkers became part of Emily's routine. Every Saturday there was a new discussion. Every Saturday there was coffee afterward. And somehow, every Saturday, Ethan found his way into the conversation. The complaints never stopped. He still disappears fishing. I swear those women at his office are waiting for me to blink. And don't ask me about the kitchen. Apparently the couch is his favorite appliance. Something had changed, though. Claire no longer laughed. Sarah no longer offered advice. Monica no longer said, "You should tell him." They simply listened. The stories no longer matched the man they had come to know. As summer approached, Monica suggested something. Why don't we have everyone over? The husbands, too. A proper backyard barbecue. Everyone loved the idea. Saturday evening arrived. The backyard was full of laughter. The husbands found common interests almost immediately. Children ran across the lawn. Music played softly in the background. Ethan somehow fit in everywhere. He stood by the grill helping Monica's husband. He talked football with Claire's husband. He listened to Sarah's husband describe restoring an old Mustang. When someone needed another chair, Ethan quietly went to get one. When one of the children dropped a plate, he cleaned it before anyone else moved. Nothing dramatic, nothing extraordinary, just dozens of small moments that made people comfortable around him. Later that evening, Claire found Ethan alone near the grill. "Can I ask you something?" He smiled. "Of course." She hesitated. "I hope you don't take this the wrong way." "I won't." She looked toward Emily, who was laughing with the other women. "You're a genuinely good man." He laughed. "I've managed to fool everyone." She smiled. "I'm serious." Then she lowered her voice. "Sometimes I don't think Emily appreciates you enough." Ethan didn't answer immediately. He simply smiled. "I appreciate you saying that." A little later, Sarah helped him carry drinks inside. She spoke quietly. "I hope this isn't inappropriate." "It probably is," Ethan joked. She smiled. I wish Emily talked about you the way you talk about her." He looked at her for a moment, then simply nodded. Before dessert, Monica joined him while he arranged chairs. "I've wanted to say something for months." He looked up. "You deserve more credit than you get." Ethan smiled politely. "Thank you." Nothing more. No defending himself. No criticizing Emily. Just gratitude. Emily was across the yard, laughing with a few neighbors. Ethan noticed Claire, Sarah, and Monica standing together near the fence. He walked over with a smile. "Can I ask you three a favor?" "Of course," Claire replied. "I've been thinking about what you said tonight. I appreciate your concern." He glanced toward Emily. "Next Saturday, if I come up during your coffee, don't ask Emily about me." The three women looked puzzled. "Instead, tell her what you think of me." Sarah frowned. "What do you mean?" Ethan smiled. "You've heard months of stories. If she says I spend too much time fishing, tell her maybe I enjoy being away from home. If she talks about office parties, say you noticed me talking to women and wondered if she was right." Claire looked uncomfortable. "But we don't believe that." "I know," Ethan replied calmly. "I'm just asking you to tell her the conclusion someone might naturally reach after hearing those stories." Monica laughed. "So, I should tell her you're trying to turn all our husbands into fishermen? And Claire can blame you for her husband asking why she doesn't cook more," Sarah added with a smile. Ethan chuckled. "Exactly. If you don't mind." The three women exchanged uncertain glances. Finally, Claire nodded. "All right. We'll do it." "Thank you," Ethan said before walking back toward the house. The three women watched him leave, still wondering why he wanted them to do it. The following Saturday, after the discussion ended, the four women settled into their usual corner of the cafe. After a few minutes of casual conversation, Claire exchanged a glance with Sarah. Then she spoke. "You know, I've been thinking about Ethan." Emily looked up. "What about him?" Claire hesitated. "After the barbecue, I actually wondered if maybe you were right." Emily frowned. "About what?" Sarah leaned forward. "I think he enjoys women paying attention to him." Monica nodded. "And inviting all our husbands fishing? I think he was trying to influence them." Claire added, "My husband came home asking why I don't cook more. I think Ethan is putting ideas into their heads." For a moment, Emily said nothing. The color slowly drained from her face, then rushed back all at once. Her cheeks turned crimson. She slowly stood up. "What?" Her voice was barely above a whisper. "Did you just say?" The three women looked at each other. Claire tried to explain. "Emily, we're only saying—" Emily slammed her palm on the table. "No!" Several people in the cafe turned around. "You think Ethan flirts?" She laughed in disbelief. "Forget flirting. My husband wouldn't even look at another woman that way. I know him. I've shared a home with him for 8 years. I know exactly the kind of man he is." Her breathing had become heavier. She pointed toward Claire. "How dare you accuse him of something so disgusting?" She turned toward Sarah. "And fishing? He invited your husbands because he was trying to be kind. He doesn't need more friends. He thought they'd enjoy themselves. That's the kind of man he is." Then Monica. "And cooking?" Emily almost laughed. "Why the hell would he cook? I'm there. I love cooking for my husband. That's my privilege. He isn't lazy. If anything, I'm the one who chases him out of the kitchen." She looked at all three of them. Her eyes had become wet. Her hands were trembling. "I complain about my husband because he's my husband. I've earned that right. But none of you have the right to stand here and insult him. He is the best husband I could ever ask for. And if you really want to know, he's 100 times better than the man you've just described." She grabbed her handbag, pulled out a few bills, dropped them onto the table. By now she was shaking with anger. "I've completely lost my appetite." Without another word, she turned and walked out. The cafe door closed behind her. The three women remained frozen. No one spoke. They simply stared at one another. That evening, Emily walked through the front door, still visibly upset. Ethan was sitting on the couch, absent-mindedly watching television. He looked up. "Everything okay?" Emily threw her handbag onto a chair. "Those friends of mine are—" She stopped herself. "They're impossible." Ethan muted the television. "What happened?" She shook her head. "No. I don't even want to repeat what they said about you." He smiled softly. "I don't need to hear it." He reached out his hand. "Come here." She walked over. He gently pulled her toward him. She stumbled forward, falling onto him. He caught her effortlessly, holding her close. For a long moment, neither of them spoke. She kissed him gently. He smiled into the kiss. Before long, the conversation was forgotten. The television was left playing in the background, and they disappeared into their bedroom, where the rest of the evening belonged only to the two of them. The next morning, Emily's phone rang. It was Claire. "I'm sorry. I should never have said those things." A few minutes later, Sarah called, then Monica. None of them tried to justify what they had said. They simply apologized. But because they finally understood the difference between hearing someone's complaints and knowing the person they were complaining about. A few months later, the same group gathered for another backyard barbecue. The husbands were laughing around the grill. The wives stood nearby. Ethan walked over to Claire, Sarah, and Monica with a smile. "So," he asked, "does Emily still complain about me every Saturday?" The three women looked at one another. Then all three burst into laughter. Claire smiled. "Oh, she absolutely does." Sarah nodded. "Every single week." Monica laughed. "But now, we know the rest of the story." Ethan smiled. Good. He picked up his drink and walked back toward Emily. She caught him looking, smiled, and shook her head. What are you smiling at? He simply answered. Nothing. I'm just looking at my favorite person. She rolled her eyes, but couldn't stop herself from smiling back. If you enjoy stories that explore the complexities of love, marriage, and the choices that shape our relationships, please like this video, subscribe to Forge Stories, and join us for a new original story every day. Have you ever defended someone you often complained about? Why do you think that happens? Share your thoughts below.